Well, it says that we're live. Mabrika,
Welcome.
welcome. Just give me a few seconds here as I'm just wanting to make sure that all the tech stuff is working good. And it looks like it is.
We're so glad that you can join us for our end of year time. We're going to report to you about all of the things that we've done this year and the things that you have sown into and prayed for and made possible through your prayers, the connections that you give us, and your giving.
And we're going to show you some things that we have not posted anywhere on any social media or anything. So if you're here joining us, pray for her healing. She's getting over from a week of being sick.
It's hard.
And still working.
When the naturopath is away from her tinctures and vitamins and everything, I tell you what.
As I was saying, for those of you who are on the stream, you'll get to watch some never before seen video footage from some of the things that we're sharing.
We're also going to tell you about our plan going forward, what 2026 we believe will hold as far as our plans as FireKeepers and also as the RiverWinds. So thank you for joining us. Of course, there will always be surprises, plenty of things that we have no ideas in store. Hopefully good.
Well, Creator, we just ask you to be a part of this entire time, and Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, just fill this place, fill this space, and we just ask for your peace and bring things to memory, bring things to mind. We just thank you, Creator, for everything that you've done in this past year, not just in our lives, but also the lives of our FireKeepers tribe. We just thank you. We thank you. We thank you. And without any further ado, we're going to just brag on the things that you have done this year, because it wasn't us, it was the Creator. So where do we even begin?
So we're on our personal channel because a lot of the things that we've done have been personal and are related to our spiritual beliefs. And then we also have done things with FireKeepers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on our channel so that we can give you both sides of that and you can understand everything that we've done. If you are not interested in our spiritual teachings, you want nothing to do with anything that is related to somebody else's spiritual beliefs, then this is not the message for you. This is not the video for you. You'll want to look for something through FireKeepers International to give you updates for what we're doing there. This is, however, going to incorporate aspects of our spiritual beliefs.
So where do we begin?
We say that because we have a good significant amount of people who want to understand and hear and be in relationship with us as
people from
believers,
many different walks of life,
but they don't necessarily want to hear what would be considered proselytizing. Stick with us and we'll help you understand a little bit better why that matters and why we respect that, people's wishes concerning that.
So where do we start?
Well,
the list.
Just so that you, before we even go to the list, just a little bit of background that you may not know. Sorry. In 2018, the Lord moved us from being a ministry. We were pastors in 2017. And in 2018, the Lord told us that he was going to do something different and that he wanted us to prepare his people for hard times.
And at the time we thought, what hard times? I mean, things are going pretty good and you know, the nation is blessed and the world is kind of going along at the pace as the world goes. And little did we know that right around the corner, that next year, COVID hit. And for a year, we were saying we have to prepare. We need to get ready. You all have heard this over and over again from us before October 7th, before the war began, three months before. We were in Israel, and the Creator told us again, tell my people to empty out their bomb shelter rooms and to make them into safe rooms.
To prepare them. Put the right things in there because something is coming.
And then October 7th happened. And as you know, things have escalated.
The war occurred.
Yeah, the war occurred. And now we have Islamic jihadist attacks all over the place from radical extremists and the numbers are just it's atrocious what's happening. Things like in Nigeria, in Sudan, not just what happened in Israel on October 7th, but things that are ongoing, taking place. And as Scripture says in the book of Revelation, it says the dragon is going to go to war with who? Those who have the testimony of Yeshua, those are the Christians, regardless of your denomination, and those who keep the commandments. And for most theologians will tell you that's the Christians and the Jews. And they have said it from their own mouths that this is what they're going to do. First the Saturday people, then the Sunday people.
Meaning extremists and terrorists.
So we've been trying to prepare people during that time.
And what we're trying to do is prepare people, honestly, to walk through the book of Revelation. Now, you may believe that you won't be here for the whole book of Revelation, and that's fine. But don't you want to prepare for at least the part that you will be here? Or if you don't believe you're going to be in any of it, don't you want to have things prepared for your children and your loved ones and teach people how to live in a state of being ready for anything?
Sometimes you might plant a tree and not be the one that eats the fruit of it. So that preparedness also gives you it's good for your mental health, especially with all the doom scrolling that most people do and all the news that's happening. But we have to keep a pulse. We have to check the pulse of what's happening in the world. And
Scripture actually talks about blessed being the person is blessed who plants a tree knowing that they won't eat the fruit of that tree. And what that means is basically the tree, according to the Scriptures, the fruit of the tree is forbidden for 4 years. The first 3 years, it's not to be touched. And then the 4th year, the fruit is to be taken as a gift to those who minister. And then beginning the 5th year is when you actually eat of the fruit. And so if you prepare and have things in order for your children and your grandchildren, you're teaching them how to be responsible and to be ready for anything that comes your way.
Which brings stability in times of chaos.
And brings peace, a peace of mind. Some people have the automatic sense that, oh, that's fear-mongering. Really, that is definitely an outsider's perspective to preparedness, because those of us who have already begun preparing realizes that it does bring with it an additional peace of mind that we've done our part. Because one of the things that people say was, well, God will provide for me. I'm not saying that he won't, but I am saying that it is responsible. And there are scriptures that address this. Proverbs tells us that the cautious man sees danger coming and prepares.
The fool does nothing and suffers the consequences.
So in other words, if you decide to close your eyes to being prepared or to not do anything about it, the Lord calls you a fool. So if you have family members that maybe aren't on board with that and believe, oh, well, I'll be fine, I'm just going to be raptured out, point out to them that there are plenty of scriptures that talk about the growing pain or the groans of the earth, the pains, birth pains, and that those are going to happen definitely before anybody is taken anywhere. And to be prepared and provide peace of mind to their family is something that Scripture calls wise.
And so throughout this year, we've incorporated still, because the Creator's still telling us, warn people, get people prepared, but people aren't prepared. And as we see, things are escalating in the world. Things are getting worse. And that's just even physics. You look at it from a science point of view, everything's in a state of decay. And what's taking place is not just a state of decay, but it's a state of accelerated decay, and decay of ethics, decay of morals, decay of integrity, decay of love, which Scripture says that in the end times, people will be lovers of themselves.
And a decay of discernment.
Decay of discernment.
Being able to tell what's truth and what's fiction.
You know what the number one use of a cell phone camera is?
Yeah.
Taking selfies. That's straight out of Revelation. Anyway, so we've talked about this, and what we're doing is going to show you how this has incorporated into what we've been doing all year. Things that have, there's so much that I haven't been able to put on social media, many things that we haven't been able to upload. Some of those we're going to share with you here today. But it has been an incredible year, meeting and being able to work with incredible people in every capacity.
So one of the things the Lord has impressed upon us was to stand with his people and to become friends that they could trust and to build relationship and community. And that's one of the things that we have spent an enormous amount of time doing. This was a strategic time to show friendship with Israel. And I know there are a lot of, I don't even know what, it's not really, they're not theories, they're maybe beliefs or convictions that have really been changing concerning the church over the nation and people of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I would caution you strongly that one of the enemy's true designs is to divide the people. And you may say, well, we're already divided over who we believe the Messiah is. But what I would say is that it's very clear in Scripture that the Lord says he's going to bring the blood Jews back to Israel. And he has done that. He doesn't say that he's going, that first Khazarian state fraudulent Jews are going to be the ones who take it over, and that then it's going to be turned over to a true Israel of believers. It's not what he says. He said he's going to bring the two sticks of Ephraim and Judah, of Joseph and Ephraim, together with Judah, and that is Ephraim is the multinational people of God.
And Judah are the people who have never left. There's Jewish people who trace their lineage back to the time of King David. So there's the psychological propaganda that's out there on TikTok, Instagram, all those algorithms, they're going to trigger those of us brown people. I'm saying it, those of us brown people. It's going to trigger you when all the European colonizing Jews, blah, 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 right? That's done on purpose. It's done on purpose. Please do the research or come to Israel with us and see that the reality there on the ground is completely different than what you're seeing in this propaganda machine.
And the color of people's skin should not matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing to celebrate culture and to enjoy culture, but we shouldn't be formulating opinions about people in mass without good cause. Even it shouldn't be about race. When I formulate opinions about somebody, it's based on my experience, what I see and feel and hear. I don't make the judgment with my eyes. That's what Yeshua was talking about when he said, don't judge by mere appearances. He's not saying what you experience with a person. He's saying, don't let it be about skin color, if they're beautiful or not. Don't let this be a skin deep, shallow decision.
Y'all, Yeshua was a mixed blood. Deal with it.
So when you hear these things and you wonder, why are these important? Why is this important? Let me say this. When we all read back on World War II history, we all ask ourselves the question, why didn't they see it coming? Why didn't they do more to prepare? How come, people needlessly died because couldn't they tell the writing was on the wall and what was happening? How could they not believe the reports? Why was there not a plan in place ahead of time? And hindsight is always 20/20 until they try to erase history and rewrite it.
Which there's a whole lot of that going on right now. Yeah.
But when we look at when the Lord tells us what's going to happen, and we can start seeing the signs of the times and say, you know what? He told me that when the almond tree starts budding, you know what's going to happen next. So we see the signs of the times, and the Lord is speaking to us about where we are.
And I don't think it's just to us, it's to a lot of us. A lot of you who are in the chat room right now, you've been hearing the same thing.
And so what are we doing to prepare? I hear people all the time saying, we're in the end times, we're in the end times. And even there's a sense of this, even outside of just our beliefs. But so what are we doing about it? And what the Lord had told us, like I said, was to build relationship and community. If you are a prepper, you know that one of the most important things to have is community.
You got to have a tribe that you trust, people that you trust.
So this year, because it was war against God's people, we really dropped everything and we did what they asked of us, what the Lord asked of us. And that was to stand with the people and to be
a voice,
a shoulder, a friend, to be someone who provided encouragement in mass and personally. And so a lot of what you're going to hear is relationship building. And the only beautiful, one of the most beautiful things that comes out of trauma is that you can really see who walks with you through that are true friends. And that is what we have done.
This year we did a lot of trauma work with soldiers, with Holocaust survivors, with children who've been severely traumatized. We'll get to those things. But there's been a lot. There's been a lot that we've done behind the scenes, which is why sometimes we don't get to update you quite as often, because we are constantly nose to the grind.
And we need like a crew, a team of helpers. We need people processing all the videos we have because our storage is running out. So pray for us.
We do want to note that today would have been Sarah's birthday, Sarah Milgram, our friend who was murdered at the embassy with Yaron, whose parents and family are just incredible people that we've met, we've gotten to know, and we've broke bread with them, prayed for them, brought gifts. Thanks to many of you, we brought gifts to Yaron's family really in Jerusalem,
special. And also to Sarah's family.
And to Sarah's family, yes.
So thank you for providing. One of my tribal members beaded feathers for both of them. And I brought necklaces.
Thank you, Isaac, for that.
From Isaac and also from my parents. And so we just want to thank you guys for helping us be there for people in real crisis.
And for those of you who didn't know, Yaron's family are believers, and Sarah was a believer as well. He was going to propose to her. They were going to get married on the Feast of Trumpets. But today would have been her birthday. And so just pray for her family, pray for Yaron's family, and also the embassy workers who were very close with Sarah.
And that was one of the places we went this year. Mm-hmm. We went to the embassy. This year was in the winter was the last time I saw Sarah, and I got to be with the Minister of Foreign Affairs a good bit, who is an amazing woman.
She's Druze, from the Druzim people.
Is the first Druze that I absolutely fell in friendship love with. The Druze people are amazing.
If you don't know who the Druze are, the Druze trace their lineage all the way back to Jethro.
So they're Midianites.
So they're modern day Midianites, and they have a 100% loyalty to Israel because of that connection, because of that marriage that took place. So the Druze are they're some of the most incredible warriors. I got some videos I'm going to show you about when we got to be with the Druze Golani Brigade and pray for them and minister to them, bless them before they went into battle.
They have the most stringent blood quantum requirements of all. You have to be 100% Druze in order to be considered Druze. You have to be from a mother and a father,
period,
both Druze. Otherwise, no.
Nope. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm going to pull up here. Where is it? Let me see if I can pull up from video storage. I'm going to try to. Okay, here's one.
So we're going to show you a few videos.
I don't know if they can.
May the Creator protect
this was ours.
May the Creator protect you, bless you, and keep
There it
you
goes.
safe, bring you back home. Thank you, my friend. Like this.
We got to pray over their over them. We got to bless their weapons. This was on the front lines of the Golani area, the Golan
in Syria.
Heights.
So if you remember when the Syrian Druze and also Christians and Alawites were being massacred by Jolani's forces, there was a huge outcry from within Israel. Most of the news channels really didn't cover it much. But you heard about it from us. We posted about it because we were right there, and there was nothing being said about it. So we were able to go up to a forward operating base right on the Syrian border. And these Druze warriors, they were the Special Forces Golani unit, to go in and handle business and rescue their people.
Because over 2,000, is that number correct?
Mm-hmm.
Over 2,000 Druze, Christians, and Alawites were brutally murdered in Syria's own October 7th.
Mm-hmm. Pastors being crucified, their children being
in the summer
kidnapped and taken. I mean, just and nothing from the churches here or from the people.
So when we look at the Lord telling us, prepare my people for hard times, he's thinking ahead to what happened in Syria, to what's happening what happened in Nigeria, to what happened in Israel, all of these things, so many places around the world, that what happened in Australia at Bondi Beach, just so many terrorist attacks that are occurring. And he was thinking about what occurred when last year, when the hurricane came through and just decimated this area.
I've got other IDF videos.
Okay.
Before we get to that one, I want to show you another one. Some of the trauma work that we did with IDF soldiers. And we were working with a war trauma specialist. And this is a funny video. We're actually speaking to IDF soldiers. No, he's okay. He's Druze. You're about to watch a bunch of IDFs freak out over a bug.
I'm the ambassador of the Georgia tribe of Eastern Cherokee. My native name.
So this was at one of the airborne bases, and this girl right here was really impacted by Laurelin.
When we arrived, I don't know what she had been through, what she had seen, but her knees were drawn up to her chest, and she was hugging her knees and just like rocking back and forth. Her face was
dark,
very dark, and she just had an air of wishing that she was not alive and wondering how she could make that happen. And she looked like at any moment she wished she could cry, but she knew she couldn't. And you know, I don't know how many times you guys have ever lost somebody to suicide. We have, but there's no amount of, there's nothing that can prepare you for that. And there's nothing that the loved ones wouldn't do to go back and change something, wishing that somebody had been there. And when I look back on all of the work that we did last year, remembering back to that girl's face when we left makes everything worth it. When we left, she'd been through a couple of hours of us being there.
We used our storytelling. We played songs for them with our flutes, with our drums. And at the end, we got them all dancing.
She was dancing. She was full. It had brought her back up. It had brought resurrection life.
We did round dance
back into her heart.
I looked over and I saw her playing Laurelyn's drum.
And I
was like,
drum.
Whoa, wow, okay.
And when we left, they told us, you've given us hope. Thank you. And over again, I wish that we could share with you guys those moments that you could just tap into our brains and read and hear.
See their faces, see their eyes.
But there have been lives, physical lives saved because
more than once.
Suicide is a real problem right now in Israel. And ever since October 7th, there's just been trauma upon trauma upon trauma. Imagine off your friends and your family members one by one, and you don't know when. The Jewish community is very small, and everybody knows somebody murdered, killed in battle, maimed, lost limbs, been raped, been brutalized somehow. We all know somebody. And I'm not even in the Jewish community.
And over there, every generation has seen combat, every generation has seen war, but not anything to this extent. Again, what the media shows here is so sanitized, which I was very, very surprised that when, and we'll get to this, when we were asked to come be a part of the 1,000 pastors and influencers that came to Israel a few months ago, they showed some of the unsanitized videos, and you could hear the shock and just the crying and the groans of these pastors who'd only seen little sanitized clips of what took place October 7th, and they got to see, and it wasn't even the worst of it.
But what we have heard over and over again is, we can't tell you. I can't tell you how much it means that you're here. Thank you for coming. I wondered if there was anybody still left who stood with Israel. I've lost so many friends just to propaganda. Like many of the friends that they have that they've had their whole lives, like some since kindergarten, were just abandoning their friendship because they were Jewish. And so people who they went to school with who knew they were Jewish their whole lives, their friends were suddenly abandoning them now, because it's hard to stand with Israel sometimes. I bet it was hard during the Holocaust when people were risking their lives.
The trauma work that we did there, we went to several IDF bases. And thank you all for those. There were many of you who gave to help us do that. We were pulling 12 to 14 hour days.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more. 3 o'clock in the morning, these guys are coming in straight out of combat, and instead of tuna fish and crackers, which is what a lot of these guys are fighting on, I wish I didn't have a chance to put the videos up here. They were coming off their trucks and being welcomed with 5 barbecue grills with beef and chicken and all sorts of food, and they're just like, whoa,
you
know,
have helped feed Israeli soldiers. You know, it's really, and people might say, well, why is that even necessary? Did you catch the part about they were eating for days little things of tuna and crackers?
There's some Army veterans that are on here. You know that, I mean, even our MREs fill you up. Can you imagine fighting a full day and that's all you eat?
Some of those, you know, some of them were the ones who were taking aid into Gaza by the truckloads, and yet we were at their bases, and 4 out of 7 of them had run out of toilet paper. Okay, so there's a strong need. I know friends who have had to raise their own money to get equipment that should have been standard. It would have been standard issue in the here in the U.S., but yet they didn't have enough some of the protective gear to keep them safe, like Kevlar and things like that. So it's heartbreaking to me to see how much has gone to Gaza and how much spoiled outside of Gaza. We saw
the humanitarian aid rotting and the UN not allowing it to go in.
And yet that aid for Israel. So it's not easy what they're doing and what they have done. And if you're wondering, why do we keep going on and on about Israel? We are wanting to build trust between believers and Jewish people. And we want that trust to be earned and worth it and unbroken, because that's what was needed before World War II.
And it's prophesied. We have, as believers, and we have a responsibility and we have a duty, Creator's people. They are the keepers of the oracles of the Creator. They are the ones who have written the scriptures when long before Europe was even literate. And we have a duty. When Yeshua said about feeding his people, taking care of the sick, taking care of the poor, yes, it is a blanket. It can be used as a blanket statement for all people, absolutely 100%. But when you read the original, he uses very specific wordage. He uses very specific words, and he's talking about his blood relatives. He's saying, take care of my family until I get back. And we have a responsibility to do that. There's a verse that still hasn't happened where it says that we'll be the ones carrying the Jewish people on our shoulders back home, bringing them back to Israel to make Aliyah home, not Poland, not Australia, not the United States of America. There's one place that's home, and it's where the people originated, Judea, Samaria, the land allotments that was given by the Creator. So the trauma work, and I would jump right back to the trauma work. The trauma work that we did with the soldiers was absolutely impacting. How can it be measured? I don't know. Before
we even get into the trauma work, I just want to, in case we haven't spelled it out before, because we have kind of gently onboarded you, for those of us who may have been with us for 20 years now almost, that we've been ministering or doing nonprofit work. Maybe you've said over the past few years, what are the RiverWinds doing exactly? We don't understand what they're doing now. I will put it plainly. We are preparing God's people to walk through the book of Revelation and to walk through the book of Zechariah and to walk through some of the things that the prophets told us would be coming in the end times. And so we're doing that by our motto, which is advocacy, resiliency, and recovery. So Trust us. We hope you'll trust us. We didn't lead you wrong when we told you something was coming and COVID hit. And we didn't lead anybody wrong when we told them to prepare for what was coming and the war hit. And what I would love to see you guys doing, stick with us and help. And we're going to help you, and we hope you will help us, help you and others to prepare. And the plan that we are preparing on is the 7 years of fat and 7 years of lean. Now, I'm beginning this year seeing us as at the beginning of the 7 years of fat. Now, if that's not where we are, we may have less, we may have more, but we all need a goal, right? And so my goal here is to give myself a timeline. Maybe after prayer, you would pray and ask the Father what your goal and timeline would be. But that's how we're operating.
We have some other videos we're going to show you.
So you were talking about recovery.
Recovery. So recovery work, like I said, we did 4 IDF bases, and also not just IDF bases, we also work with soldiers and veterans off post in different areas, and including in communities, in kibbutzim, the Nachlaot community in Jerusalem, tight-knit community. We were able to do recovery work with many of the people in that community. It's an Orthodox community. And
other than just Orthodox, the other groups of people who we interfaced with, you want to tell them some of the others?
Yeah.
I mean,
and so after that community, we also worked with children's village.
Mystics.
Yeah, Mystics. The traumatized children's home was incredible.
Secular
as well. Secular people. Everybody.
Holocaust survivors.
Everybody. Holocaust survivors. As you know, we like hosting a meal for them. We work with Helping Hand Coalition there in Israel to host a special dinner for Holocaust survivors, and it was so cool. We brought a talking stick for them to pass and share, if they wanted to, their experiences. And we've heard this before. What if some of the people that work with these Holocaust survivors every day? There's been times where we've come and hosted a dinner, and they just start opening up about their experiences. And what do the people who work with them say? They're nurses.
They've never told that story before. I've never heard him open up before and talk about his experiences.
It's very healing. It's absolutely healing. And we want to thank you for those of you who gave towards the Holocaust survivor hosting dinners as well. Lives touched again, lives touched and hearts healed. What else do we do? Recovery work all over Israel. And then we did recovery work with the people who do the recovery work. Oftentimes we don't, you don't think that the person who's the psychiatrist or the person who's the counselor or the war trauma specialist or whatever role the person is that's helping others, they also have to go through trauma de-escalation, trauma debriefing. Oftentimes, when you have somebody who's gone through something traumatic, like at the Nova site, where we've heard witness accounts of horrendous things that people have personally witnessed. And then they're having to give these things in detail to their counselor. Well, now their counselor has to go and also deal with that trauma. So we also worked trauma work with the specialists and the journalists, journalists and social media hackers, the computer hackers who were the ones who got hacked into the live stream feeds of Hamas as they were doing all these horrendous things. And so there was trauma work with that. I got the video for Good Medicine to show for that one.
And also, we sat with hostage families,
mm-hmm.
and poured love and hugs into hostage victims themselves that we've interfaced with.
One who lost her son to an UNRWA employee that kidnapped and murdered him, and another who got his son back in one of the last hostage releases. And it was wonderful being able to sit with them and just speak words of hope and life into them. It was absolutely incredible, the doors that were open for us to be able to do so, and I can't accentuate enough the favor that Creator has given us to be able to walk through these doors to accomplish these things that you've helped us be able to accomplish. So it's not just us; it's all of us together are accomplishing these things. Did you want to go to the Good Medicine program?
Sure.
Okay. Good Medicine program is we've been all around here because there's also the Awakened Giant.
Where are we on the list?
So this is the Good Medicine program that we implement not just for soldiers but also for people in the communities, kibbutzes, moshavs.
Facts in Israel, plus also other places across the United States.
Mm-hmm. So here is.
And we still offer the Good Medicine experience going forward into 2026. Now we will be needing sponsors and things like that to help bring it, because we are tapped out in being able to offer it ourselves.
Yeah, everything.
With just what we get from donations here.
Yeah, everything that we did when we've been in Israel, and it was at no cost. One of the last things that we want to do is to profit off of the Jewish people's suffering, and which is why it's been such a blessing. Those of you who have given, that were made us able to implement these programs as a blessing to the people. And when I say to the people of Israel, it's not just Jewish people. There's Jews, there's Arabs, there's Druze, there's Ethiopians, Moroccans, Nigerians. I mean, there's people of every ethnicity and race in Israel that we were able to bring this program to, and with an effect. It had a long-lasting effect. You can look at reviews and everything like that.
And we encourage them and speak to them about Creator. We many of them are secular and atheists, and we encourage them to. We tell them the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the best Elohim of all, and that's why that's one of the reasons why we started loving Israel, was because of the God of Israel. And so we try to shift people from being completely distant from the Lord, from God, into, hey, you know what? I see the beautiful miracles, and I see the amazing, the good, and so we give hope, and we encourage people to move into relationship with Creator. So, lest you think that we have scrubbed everything that we talk about with Jewish people completely of anything spiritual, that's not the case at all.
It's not. It's a beautiful thing that the people in Israel know what we believe, know how we believe, and we're still loved
We just respect the
we
boundaries.
respect the spiritual sovereignty of
what
the people.
they have laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And we tell them we are definitely going to brag, though, on their Elohim.
It just reminded me of something that I forgot what it was.
Well, while you're thinking
There's
about
Awakened Giant. Awakened Giant happened before some of the videos we showed you. So Awakened Giant. So as so many of you know, if you don't know, Billy Graham, the famous evangelist, spoke a prophecy 50 years ago in, was it February or March or something? And I can't remember the exact date. But and in that prophecy, he spoke about Native Americans being a sleeping giant. And there'd be a time when we awaken. And it's so interesting because even like on my island, there's a city that's called the City of the Sleeping Giant. And in this prophecy, he said this was going to take place. Well, 50 years on the anniversary, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is where the prophecy was given, was hosted a gathering of all nations, all tribes, and not just native tribes, but every tribe and nation. But this was all the First Nations tribes that came, including some people. So there were elders there that were there when Billy Graham spoke that prophecy. And oh my gosh, it was
there were
incredible.
70 different tribes there.
There were traditionalists that came and showed up. There were people. Indian country is so ready to hear about the tribalness of the scriptures, the tribalness of Yeshua not being the white man's God, the feasts, the things that the traditional people, we heard this over and over again, the traditionalists saying, these feasts, we do these feasts. We understand this. Why doesn't the church do this? And it was absolutely incredible.
So one of the things we've heard many Native people say, oh, the giant is awakened. And we're like, you think? I don't, maybe it's waking up or hitting.
Oh, this is good. This is good. But she's about to drop.
Well, I did some research because, I'm a scientist. I'm like, I need numbers. I need numbers about everything. I need proof. I need something solid. We're going to vet this. And I, when Joseph and I were young, eons ago, the statistics were 1 to 5% of Native people were believers.
And that's 1 to 5% of the 1.5% of the total population.
So 1 to 5%
Native population
of Native people were believers. Now, okay, let's pause on Native population and look at American culture and population as a whole, all races. There has been a fairly rapid decline of those who would call themselves Christian, to the point where now, depending on which source you look at, you're around 60% of people who consider themselves Christians. I mean, think about it. 100 years ago, that number was very easily probably well above 90. But so it's been, oh, look, the battery's close to dead.
Oh, no.
We thought it was plugged in. I mean, I see the plug-in.
I'll be back.
So now that number has very steadily declined to around 62% in America. But in Native culture, you guys, in our race, in our lifetimes, it has gone from 1 to 5% Christian to now, according to the Center for Disease Control, which is a really strange place to give statistics about this, but it's related to hospital stays and visits and what people claim to be their religion when they go into the hospital. So according to the CDC, that number for Native populations now is 70%. You guys, 70%. And I'm thrilled that Joseph and I have been able over the years in some tiny way to contribute to that number. Because we do witness to our own people. We do witness to those who are interested and want to hear. We don't force our beliefs on anybody, and we don't make anybody listen. But to those who have an ear to hear and are interested, we are so ready to share who the love of our lives is.
So we're going to show you a quick video.
Success in Indian country.
Yes, that is those
Big win.
You won't hear those statistics anywhere else. The giant is definitely awake. So here's just a short clip.
And he says that because it was in my speech at somewhere. Sterling, what you got? Oh, here's a little video we're gonna share with you.
This was the awakened giant conference. Woo! That was one of the most powerful gatherings that we have been at.
Really enjoyed it.
And just watching so many Native people just healing from trauma of the past, hurts of the past, things that the church has done to Native people, and things that not the church has done to Native people, just effects of colonization and trauma. But there was a lot of healing that took place in the uniting of the tribes.
And we had the opportunity to speak multiple times at that event and others in the area. And so we thank you for that. And
culminating with Pentecost, which I wish I could show the video of that. I don't have it up here, but on Pentecost, we taught on the invitation to come to the King's Feast. And we were able to literally invite people to come, and on the streets of Albuquerque, we went, because in that story, remember, all of the servants of the king made up excuses for not coming to the feast. So finally, he's like, fine then, go out and get the people from the streets and bring them to my feast.
And so guess what?
What we did, we had a huge feast in downtown Albuquerque.
We went to the homeless
shelter there, and we hit the streets and invited the people to come to the King's Feast on Pentecost, on the appointed time. It was incredible.
It was rough. It was a rough area. Not so safe an area, but the Lord protects, and it was difficult. The people were hurting. The people were just in some awful situations. So
please pray for the addictions to be broken off of First Nations people, meth, this new Zaka drug that's going around and making people into zombies. It's bad. So please keep and praying for those places, those fearless ministries that are there in the highways and byways.
We also got to go before a chief and protocol him in New Mexico of a tribe that is typically very, very closed. And he invited us onto their sacred grounds and reservation land areas that were completely closed to other people. So we got to go and pray and just honor the people and the requests there.
That was also where we walked with Moccasin America, led by Terry Claw of the Navajo Nation, an elder clan mother who had a vision of walking across America praying for America. And So we were able to partner with them there. And when we met with them in Washington, D.C., where they finished the trip, which culminated in Feast of Tabernacles, unbelievable Feast of Tabernacles on the National Mall. 20 years ago, we said Feast of Tabernacles, and people would call us all sorts of names. And now, here's 20 years later, here's Feast of Tabernacles, and the world's longest, or world's, the U.S.
attended by every state.
Every state was there with a sukkah, and they knew that it was Tabernacles. And then they had Communion America. That was incredible. What else do we have? During the summer, we did go back to Israel with Native leaders. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Southeastern Consulate, invited us to come with, I think it was 10 other Native tribal leaders for 1 week, and that was an incredible time of fellowship, and also connecting with other tribes here in the Southeast and their leadership who are pro-Israel. While we were there, this is one of the videos that we have that we're going to share with you. Our host, the one who was giving us the tour of kibbutz Nir Oz, which was one of the first kibbutzes attacked, and it's where the Bibas family was captured. And I want to share this video because Hamas has put out propaganda again. Hamas is putting out statements saying that they did not target civilians on October 7th.
Wow.
And they need, where is the proof? Whereas I have so much proof, not just me, but anyway, while we were there, Roni, who was actually one of the 3 security guards that was on duty that day, was and fought off the terrorists. He was taking us through the kibbutz, and he gets a phone call from Cherie Bibas's sister, and they gave us permission to go into their home and record it, and that is what we're going to share.
Just
and then
before entering, the fact is that first of all, Yarden was kidnapped, and Yarden surrendered because he said, well, I surrender, I'm kidnapped, but I'm actually metzil.
I'm a lifeguard.
No, אני מציל את אשתי. אני מציל את אשתי ואת הילדים שלי.
I'm protecting her. I'm saving my wife.
I'm saving my wife and Ariel and Anfir, my sons. So after this, 2 hours later, terrorists came again, and they took Shiri, Ariel, and Anfir. In that same day, in the social networks in the United States, as they were kidnapping a guy of 8.5 months, Hamas and people in the United States were speaking about, like libertators. They were speaking this way, and in the social network, there were nothing because it was content, provocative content, or like aggressive content, in the social network. How do you say that? Contenido agresivo, contenido. Okay, aggressive content. So that was the fact, and then I mean, this is the 2 levels. They're kidnapping a baby of 8.5 months, and from the other side, they're talking to the world, to America, like they are liberating something. Which liberator is kidnapping a mother with his 2 sons? And then, this is not the end of the story, because what happened is that in the end of 24, the Hamas and the Jihad terrorist group, they said they were murdered in an Israeli bombing. The 3 of them were murdered in the Israeli bombing, and their bodies came back some 140 days ago, and when the bodies came back, they went to the autopsy, yeah? And in the autopsy, you know what we say?
It was not them.
That they were, yes. I mean, from one side, first of all, they bring 2 of them, and Shiri, the mother, was not released. They released another body. And after a lot of pressure, Shiri was released some hours ago,
Some hours later.
Later, yeah. But both of them, they were not, it was not an Israeli attack, but they were strangulated.
and their necks were twisted.
Yes, twisted, and also then their bodies were manipulated in order to be seen as an Israeli attack. So I asked for this so important group. We are so happy that you can be here with us in Israel. I asked Shiri's sister for you to give permission to enter the house, so you can enter if you want. Let's do it. Just not to.
From what we understand, also, is that at least Shiri and the girls were taken not by Hamas, but they were taken by Islamic Jihad, and they were held. So that's also part of the whole difficulty of releasing hostages and whatnot.
I didn't have the video.
So
they let us into the house, and I don't have that video up here,
we
but
put
it
our
was.
fingers in the bullet holes on the walls, and
You can see where they'd fought, and both from the inside, because they had made a decision, the wife and the father of the babies, and they said, "Do we surrender or do we fight?" And they said, "We fight."
I want you to imagine, if you will, just look around your home and imagine what would it be like if somebody suddenly kicked our door in and just started riddling everything with bullets. And imagine the things that happened in October 7th happening in your home. And ask yourself, did I really have compassion the way I should have? Ask yourself.
We have a spirit cat.
Ask yourself if, I was trying to hold her, but she ran away. Ask yourself, would you be ready for that? If something happened, what would you do? Because if you recall, earlier this year, although you may be watching it in 2026, but in 2025, somebody spray painted on one of the monuments in Washington, D.C., Hamas is coming.
And the last administration has let in approximately 18,000 immigrants, known terrorist ties. 18,000.
Beyond that, there were 88,000 radicalized people who, if they are not already technically terrorists, they are sympathizers, and within that same group of people who would have basically been in the second wave. So on October 7th, there was the Hamas wave that happened first, that first incursion. The second incursion was of jihadists that were not technically Hamas, but they were jihadists. And the third were Gazan citizens.
Palestinian citizens.
Gazan citizens.
Who burned, raped, pillaged, just like the other two forces that came before them. Documented. They recorded it. The Nazis, when they did these things, they didn't let anybody know. They did it in secret.
They hid it.
These people aren't even hiding it.
And they were broadcasting it. So you guys, let's pray for the best, but prepare for the worst.
So what else do we have? The launch of She Leads Native America. That was incredible. That was awesome.
I'll just touch on this briefly.
I have a 37-second thing. Touch on it briefly, and I'll show them the 7-second video.
Okay. I was asked to co-found She Leads Native America, and with Maria Gergwich, together we have done that. We launched in 2024 a soft launch, so you may not have even heard about it. It was from the Capitol building. And this year in 2025, we did our official launch from Oklahoma. And So that was exciting.
And I'll show you a little quick video. And it's really awesome because it's honoring the voices of Native women who are believers. And
Believers and all pro-Israel.
being in a room with all these elders and clan mothers, I've got video clips. I'm still in the process of uploading and editing for you to hear some of their speeches. But it's powerful, and the voice of the bride, of the First Nations bride. And here's a real quick video. I didn't realize I could pull the chat up on here.
On three, let's say Yeshua.
I like this.
Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Did we get pictures with Rochelle and the baby?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Did you get in the picture? He is the only one.
That was the culmination of the She Leads launch in Lawton, Oklahoma. Thank you so much, Impact Center, and to Rochelle Garcia, who just opened doors to the Black Legging Warrior Society and the leaders. The impact. It was an incredible gathering to honor the voices of First Nations women.
And please, if you are a First Nations woman who is a believer, pro-life and pro-Israel, this is the group for you. And if you know Native women or even non-Native women who are serving in Native communities, we would love for you through the SheLeadsNativeAmerica.com, I think it is. I don't think it's .org. To nominate people you would like to be honored, so that we can pay honor where honor is due.
I know we've been on here for a little bit. We're wrapping up here.
Let's blow through some of these things then real quick. I've got a list
if any of these things have touched you, or you're like, hey, this is the end of the year. There's our QR code. There's one right there in the center, and there's one in the top left corner that you can scan with your phone for a tax-free deductible donation.
So we'll just blow through some of these. We've been to the Israeli embassy a couple of times in DC on FireKeepers International business that they've been wonderful partners for opening doors and bringing us to Israel. Also, a main thrust this year was advocacy for the Jewish people and standing with them in recovery.
Recovery and advocacy through social media, through and the recovery work is not just short-term recovery, but also long-term recovery. We have some plans for this coming year. One of them is towards the plowshares, which is helping deal with trauma by working the earth, by planting gardens for communities.
We also did a considerable amount of storm recovery from Hurricane Helene that devastated this area. So we worked in Tennessee and North Carolina, boots on the ground.
And providing meals, groceries for families. Thanks to you all and your giving, we're able to provide groceries for 10 families.
For like 6 months, because it was a long process. Still, there's so much that needs to be done that will be later for other people who are taking care of it, but we helped them through the most difficult times. We also have been to the Southeast Consulate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel. We've prayed in Washington, D.C. in Senator Blackburn's office. She's our Tennessee United States Senator. Also, we got bees donated for the land.
We got bees. We'll have honey. We'll have honey that we'll be able to use for fundraisers and to sell. So a lot of bees. Thank you to the Colemans for the bees.
And we filmed our first short film documentary. It's on the Walam Olam, which is the creation story on birch bark with the Lenni Lenape people. which mirrors amazingly the Genesis account of creation.
It is dark 30. It is earlier than early in the morning and before early. And we are going to be filming today for the Wallam Olam project. So we're super excited about it. Incredible preservation of Native American oral tradition, indigenous history from within the tribe, within the Lenape people. So we're really excited about this project. So excited that little sleep and waking up with the crickets.
It's my voiceover. I had a voiceover where I was saying, well, I don't know if you could hear this, but so these are different stars from the set. These are actually tribal members from Laurelland's tribe. That's Hezekiah, who played Pishkok, and Abraham. All. The explosion. I had an explosion in there and everything. I had things like these chunky stones from the land. When is it going to be released?
So they just told me that they've finished the edit and they only need a couple of voiceovers.
Oh, that's right. I got to record some voiceovers.
So that should be out in the next couple of weeks.
And that was the wrong video. I had an actual video with voiceover and everything that was really cool, explaining what was going on. But this is a project, again, validating the Native American oral tradition and its correlation with the biblical accounts.
I would say it's it's a native tribe's voice of second witness to biblical account being a true and accurate account. So it's always good to have it established in the voice of 2 or 3 witnesses, right?
We did some local survival classes and basic heritage skill classes, fire making, water procurement. Don't have any videos of that to show, but that is something that here locally.
We took some video. We just
we took some video. We just don't have it here for you. But that's also, people are starting to understand the times we're in, and churches and congregations are reaching out saying, hey, we'd like some of this congregational security training, how to set up a security team. I can do all of those classes. I can do them online, but it's preferable to be able to do them on site locally here in the state of Tennessee. We have to make sure that our congregations and people, and maybe the surrounding states as well.
We can be brought also to your area to do them, but what it's better for us to do private classes where we know that we're going to have the attendance. We're pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, and it's difficult for people to get to us. So, so it's better for us to come to you than you to come to us, is what we're finding. So if you would like for us to come and teach some of these skills, help you interact and know how to interface with the Jewish community or with the Native community, then you can bring us to your area. Our board has basically said we cannot go for free anymore. So we do have to have not just our expenses covered, but we have to be able to make our payroll. And so you're free to bring us out there. It's just that we can't be free to come.
Now, on the flip side of that, as we're wrapping up here, for this year, for 2026, there are some things that you can expect from us, and that is we will be hosting a new moon gathering here on the land here in East Tennessee. So for new moons, you're welcome to come. We'll have a new moon gathering, and on full moons, we're looking at doing the Good Medicine program also online. Plus, also keep looking for our video content that we'll be putting out, encouraging words of the days and teaching, which is what we love to do, teaching scripture.
We also went to the Ambassador Summit with Friends of Zion in Washington, D.C., and that was something that was paid for by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel. And it was really an amazing experience. It was just something that we couldn't even go into at this point with the time, but it was really important to Israel to see believers standing with Israel. We all signed up to go when it was still the war. And even though the war technically ended before we got there, we were still there in solidarity with the Jewish people. And it was a really big statement to see so many pastors come from, and influencers come from all over America. In fact, other countries as well.
I think some other countries came too, yeah.
So that was an honor to be able to attend on your behalf.
Meet President Herzog and Ambassador Huckabee. That was really cool. Very cool. And
So-
I think, what else do we have?
Those are the upsides of our job. You guys have seen some of the downsides of our job, where we're arm broken and being scraped up off the floor and no pillow and no sleeping bag and no bed.
Or broken
Staying-
car axles and
Staying out with no food, no water, and survival situations. So compared to prior years, this has been a pleasant.
it's been very nice.
In many regards.
So, guys, for this coming year, keep us in your prayers. Keep us in your prayers for financing what we're doing. There's so much to share and so little time, and we have so many videos and pictures. And go to the riverwinds.com, sign up for our newsletter here on our
Also
YouTube channel,
FireKeepers.
and for FireKeepersInternational.org. We're going through a whole revamp of our websites to make it just easier to navigate. And
It's not there yet.
Yeah.
Let you know when we release the new website. But please do. One of the things you can expect from us in this coming year is increased content, and so more consistent content. We will be traveling less, we think, and being able to put out more things online. So for those who rely heavily on what they see on YouTube and social media, you will get to see and hear more of us this year, and we would love to hear from you as well. So we would love feedback from you. If you wouldn't mind writing us through our website, either at theriverwinds.com or preferably at theriverwinds.com. And we would love to hear the things that interest you the most. We also will be teaching more this year. We did an extensive amount of teaching last year during 2 seasons. One was the counting of the Omer between Passover and Pentecost. We consistently every day put teachings out. And then we did it again during the month leading into the fall feasts. So during Elul. So those were times where you guys heard from us every day. We hope that you enjoyed it. And thank you guys so much. Please do let us hear from you. What is it that you want to hear from us? And does our mission and what we're saying about what the Lord is telling us, does it resonate in your spirit? So,
And again, I want to emphasize there's things that we could never show, places that we were at that we could never divulge, but know that Creator has placed us in places where we have been effective in bringing hope, restoration, healing, places that that most would never even think these things could happen. And we have to be careful about what we say because of security reasons, but know that when you pray, when you give, it is going to good use. And we just thank you so much for everything that you've been doing, for your prayers, for your intercession, which we know has saved our lives. Check out the video about when we almost died in DC. And we just thank you. We love you all. We thank you, Firekeepers Tribe, for what you're doing in this season.
We have lost many donors over, well, since October 7th. And there have been some of you who have, to me, it feels like a few who have given more than your share. And we are so grateful from the bottom of our hearts
Massively.
for you. Please continue to pray with us, you guys, that we will have just those steady monthly donors so that we know what our budget might be. We need like recurring partners, people to say, you know what, I think what you're doing is worth my cup of coffee a day kind of thing.
Yeah, now that coffee's like $7 or $8.
I know, right?
And if you let us know if you'd be interested in we're already in the process of there's a Navajo church that wants us to bring them to Israel for a tour. Let us know if that's something that you'd be interested in too. Our delegation tours are a little different than everybody else's, and those of you who have been with us can attest to that. So let us know if that's something you'd be interested in doing, or coming with a group or your congregation or your family.
Listen, if you're an individual interested, you don't need to email us. You can just go to the Facebook group called Explore Israel with the RiverWinds. If you're a pastor or somebody who has a group, like your whole extensive family or your workplace or your church wants to go, then contact us and we can look at setting something up for you guys. Have an experience of a lifetime together in Israel.
Yep. Well, Seneko Kakona, many blessings, all of you. Thank you for bearing with us. We wish that we could show you so much more.
We honor your time.
We honor your time, and you'll eventually see it either on YouTube or on Facebook as I'm putting the videos up of what we've been doing throughout this past year, and pray for us as we're coming into this new year. So may you have a blessed 2026. May your families be safe. May Creator watch over all of you. May Yahya just spread his wings of love and hope and restoration and healing over your families and meet every single need and also the desires of your heart in this coming year. In the name of the great chief cornerstone, Yeshua.